Firefighters had their hands full at this commercial building in Attleboro overnight. The fire department says flames broke out at Rust-Oleum on Olive Street just before 1 in the morning. Officials say they were able to put the fire out in about half an hour thanks to help from surrounding towns. The cause is under investigation, but the department believes it started outside the building. A crash closed part of Route 1 in Charlestown this afternoon. It happened around noon on the southbound side of the highway. The Charlestown-Richmond Fire Department says several people were treated but didn't say how badly they were hurt. The road reopened about an hour later. Let's get a check on the forecast now. ABC 6 Storm Tracker meteorologist Bill Guile joins us. And Bill, for the first day of November, it wasn't too bad out there. A little chilly with the wind, but fairly comfortable.
Yeah, the winds were rather gusty this morning, and last night they were pretty powerful. They were roaring out there. We had winds gusting between 45 and 55 miles per hour. And that was especially true right along the south coast and out towards the Cape. You may have had some branches come down in your yard during the course of the early morning here today. But those winds slowly eased as we went through the afternoon. It was a delightful day, and temperatures got pretty close to the normal high for the day, topping off in the upper 50s across the region. There's a weak weather system back through the Great Lakes. That's really just going to fade out of play over the next 24 hours. So high pressure to the south is going to keep us on the dry side through tomorrow, and that'll mean a nice fine finish to the weekend. The sky is generally clear across southern New England, and just a few scattered clouds currently be reported in Providence, where it's 44 degrees. But there's going to be some cold pockets, like over towards Taunton, New Bedford, Norwood. These areas will get down close to freezing towards daybreak tomorrow morning. But in the city itself, about 36 will do it, with that mainly clear sky and the light winds now. And here's what we're going to be waking up to in the morning. Like I said, Norwood and Taunton, right around 32, maybe just below, and New Bedford very close, looking like a 34 checking in by daybreak. Now, as we go through the day tomorrow, bright, beautiful day. Lots of sunshine, high temperatures right around 55 degrees, and what you won't notice is the wind because, yeah, it's just barely going to be a breeze out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Hey, maybe you're heading up to Foxborough for the Patriots game against the Atlanta Falcons, and kickoff time right around 1 o'clock. It's going to be looking like a nice sunny day and 53 degrees. Just a few scattered clouds coming in towards the end of the game, which, by the way, the sun will be going down because we're going to be turning those clocks back. Yeah, just a couple of hours from now, daylight saving time is coming to an end, and Eastern Standard Time will take over. Now, we're also going to be talking about the possibility of a couple of shower threats coming our way and just how much rain we can be expecting. And also, we're also going to be looking at seasonably cooler temperatures for the upcoming week. All that is just ahead. Ryan.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Bill. Now to some other local headlines we're following for you this weekend. The FBI is taking custody of a person detained by Newport police Thursday night. Newport police say federal agents reached out to the department about someone in the area suspected of being involved in a violent felony. Now, officers got a description of that car and were able to pull the person over on Narragansett Ave. And police say a search turned up several unusual items, leading to the bomb squad being called in. Nothing dangerous was found, and the FBI's Boston office did not offer any additional information. A state police cruiser was involved in a multi-car crash on the Braga Bridge yesterday afternoon. It happened on the eastbound side of the bridge in Somerset. According to Mass State Police, troopers were responding to an emergency using the left lane. That's when two other cars collided, causing one to spin out and hit the cruiser. Police say all three drivers were sent to the hospital, but weren't badly hurt. 4 Eversource employees in New Bedford were sent to the hospital yesterday morning after reports of an explosion. The fire department says employees on site told them they were making sure power to a transformer was secure when it happened. The incident caused a brief outage to 1,300 customers. No word on how any of those employees are faring, and OSHA is investigating. New tonight at 11. Mourners gathering outside the Central Falls Police Department today, demanding justice for a 24-year-old woman found dead in the woods in Pawtucket Monday night. Here's Erin Coogan.
Justice America! Justice will be known, and I'll make sure.
Outside of the Central Falls Police Station, family and friends coming together for a vigil for 24-year-old Erica Bader.
She was so full of life. She always had a smile on her face when I seen her.
Bader's body was discovered Monday in the woods in Pawtucket. Investigators say she died elsewhere, and her body was moved to that location.
I will not rest until I find out more.
6 people are now facing charges in connection with her death, all accused of failing to report a death. 34-year-old Brittany Tarpening, who was Bader's roommate, is also charged with domestic felony assault.
What happened to Erica is a reminder of the urgent need to address the realities of domestic and shared home violence.
Friends tell NBC 10 they believe Bader was the target of physical abuse, possibly months before her death.
People who were supposed to be a part of her daily life, her home, her safety. Erica's death is not just a tragedy. It is a profound injustice that demands answers, accountability, and change.
They say they're frustrated with law enforcement after a well-being check on her back in April found nothing.
You were at that house multiple times after we sent you there to look for her. Follow up.
Central Falls Police confirmed to NBC 10 they did perform a wellness check, but said officers could not locate Bader at the address. Also noting, they've responded to the Central Street address roughly 25 to 30 times over the past 2 years, but not all of those calls were connected to Bader's apartment.
We're hoping maybe a law can change on wellness checks.
Police say additional charges are possible as they continue their investigation. In the meantime, loved ones say they'll honor her in every way possible.
You took a daughter, a loving person, away from us.
Justice for Erica!
Erica's memory will never die, as far as me and her father are alive.
Now to an ABC6 News update at 11. The FBI says the September attack on a Michigan church was a targeted act of violence. Authorities say 40-year-old Thomas Sanford drove his car through the front door of the Mormon church in Grand Blanc on September 28th. The FBI's Detroit office issued an update on their investigation yesterday, saying officials believe Sanford was motivated by anti-religious beliefs against the Mormon community. 4 were killed in the attack, and the FBI has updated the total amount of people injured from 8 to 9. In national political news, the Pentagon has recently shifted strategy in its campaign against suspected drug traffickers. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says the last 4 U.S. military strikes targeting suspected drug smugglers were carried out in the eastern Pacific Ocean, not the Caribbean Sea. Trump administration officials believe they have stronger evidence linking cocaine transport to the U.S. from those western routes. Since September, the military has struck 15 vessels in both the Caribbean and the Pacific, killing at least 61 people. Still to come at 11, a manhunt is underway for 2 suspects believed to be responsible for an explosion at Harvard this morning, what officials know so far. Plus, a 13-year-long search is finally over after a convicted sex offender allegedly faked his death in 2012, how police were finally able to catch him. And Bill will be back with a look at your weather forecast in just a bit. Everything you need to know for the week ahead. You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source. Happening across New England. Police say an explosion on the Harvard Medical School campus today appears to be intentional. Early this morning, an officer responded to the Goldenson building after a fire alarm went off and saw 2 people run from the building. Police say the officer found the remnants of an explosion on the 4th floor of that building. No one was hurt, and police did not find any other explosive devices. Investigators released surveillance photos of the suspects and are asking anyone with information to contact police. New Hampshire State Police arresting a woman they say was driving drunk in the wrong lane. It happened around 3:20 in the morning on Route 101 in Raymond. Troopers responded to the highway and found a car traveling in the westbound and the eastbound lane. Now, police were able to stop that vehicle and arrest the driver, 18-year-old Leigh McClaury Bertelson of Manchester. She's facing multiple charges, including aggravated DUI and reckless operation. She's expected to be arraigned on November 17th. In national news tonight, more than a decade on the run and now in custody. Authorities in Oklahoma yesterday talking about the work it took to get a convicted sex offender back behind bars. Here's Khalid Thomas.
A convicted child sex offender has been captured after spending 13 years on the run.
Mr. Lennon maybe thinks he's a smart person, but he's not as smart as he thinks he is.
After a decades-long search, law enforcement tracked and arrested former Moore resident Anthony Lennon Thursday night in Canton, New York.
He was eventually identified through fingerprints while using the alias of Justin Phillips.
Law enforcement says Lennon has been hiding since 2012, where detectives say he faked his own death at a Super 8 motel where he worked. There, officers found puddles of blood.
He went to extremes, and we did determine that the large amount of blood at this staged crime scene actually was his.
Lennon had been sentenced in 2008 to a 20-year suspended sentence for aggravated possession of child pornography. In 2011, a task force discovered he had additional child pornography. He was arrested, bonded out, and then staged an elaborate scene.
And just like that, Mr. Lennon disappeared, and his whereabouts remained unknown until recently. We recently received some new information and developed a possible location for Lennon in upstate New York. I will not be talking about how that information was developed or what that information was, because it could result in additional criminal charges for Mr. Lennon.
According to law enforcement, Lennon was now a student enrolled at a local university in Canton. Court documents say he was pursuing a computer science doctorate at the time he disappeared.
What crimes has he been committing over this past decade? Do you believe that he has hurt further children while evading police?
Once again, a great question. I can tell you that search warrants are being ran in New York on devices and residences, and we'll see what they reveal to see whether or not future crimes have been committed.
Hopefully now we can sentence Mr. Lennon to prison, and he can be there for the rest of his life, because these crimes carry up to life, and there will be no more children harmed by him.
Your ABC 6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Bill Guile. Brought to you by the Preserve Sporting Club and Resort.
And good evening, everyone. I'm about to say good morning, everyone. Just a minute from now, we're about to hit the midnight hour. And 2 hours from now, we end daylight saving time. And we go back to the 1 o'clock hour, and we're falling back as we get back to Eastern Standard Time. Now, it's also a good time to check the batteries in your smoke detectors. And of course, here's what the conditions are when we wake up tomorrow morning. Sunrise an hour earlier, 6:19. Of course,